This little cabin that you're looking at here was built about 7 or 8 years ago, and I built it as a temporary shelter, and I often come home cold and wet and so on, and I wanted to have a little place that I could sleep and have a stove in it so I could have the place warm in 5 minutes or so and go to bed. That's my sleeping hut, I call it. And it was built out of 7-foot cedar posts, built in a circle and with a band like a barrel or a hot tub or something like that on the top and the bottom, and then the rafters built also out of cedar poles and cedar bark roof. My name is Vince McIntyre. I'm 67 years old. I was born in the west of Ireland. I left home because I didn't get along with my dad. I got as far away as possible from family because of all the tragedies associated with my childhood. There was something like I was getting away from, that back then I never thought I'd ever settle down, that I'd always be a traveler. This old GMC van, I think it's 1962. Back in 1979, it was my home, and I traveled from place to place, and I carried everything I owned in it, and I had my canoe on top, and my girlfriend and I found this place in 1979, and we were come here to camp and make a base camp for the winter. Yeah, I didn't realize back then, but that was his last voyage when I come up here. Had slowly become the library because my wife had a lot of books, and I had a few, and we had a place to store the books that was relatively well sheltered. So over the years it accumulated a lot more books, and now it's known as the library. And I imagine it's here to stay. I don't think I'll ever get back on the road again. I'm a farmer, and I do woodworking. I'm a jack of all trades, you might as well call me. Yeah. Weeding, it's a pretty necessary. You do at least give the plants that you want to grow the edge, competition. Weeds are actually a good thing because they do make, green manure. They feed the soil, and when you weed and hoe, it has a manuring effect on the land. So having weeds not a bad thing. Having an epidemic of weeds is, too many. Then it outcompetes, and it makes. Sometimes it'll make bad conditions for the plant that you want to grow. I've always believed in doing things by hand, and I've shoveled a lot of manure and dirt, and it's all with my hand. I like working with wood. That's you can see the kind of stuff I do. So this shelter here was built in 1979, and it was built in a hurry because my girlfriend was a mountaineer, and we needed to make a base camp for the winter, and we decided on this because this place here goes up high up in the snow, and but we didn't have much tools or materials. I'm not really what you might call a blacksmith or anything like that, but I learned just enough rudimentary skills to make bend iron and heat and repair horse equipment and all that, make some of the hardware stuff on this, and obviously it hasn't been totally used a lot. And the blower is kind of seized up right now, I have to put some oil in there to get. I won't be able to do it today. Yeah.
What is it? Can you describe what that is?
This is a blower that this is the pan you put your charcoal or coal or whatever burning material you have. You put a pile of it on here and get it lit, and then this here is you turn this and it's a fan, and it blows the air through this duct here that goes in underneath the fire, and then it blows up through it, and then that's how you create the heat. And then this is your anvil here. When you get the iron hot, you take it to your anvil and pound it into whatever shape you wanted, or bend it, or so on. You know, when I hit my mid-40s, I decided, you know, this work that I'm doing is totally meaningless to me, you know. Going out there and putting 3 bags on and making a bunch of money. And any amount of it, I got so that this is just playing figures for the government, you know. We've been industrialized on all levels, and when you have that realization, you know, we feel helpless. You know, when we look at the past, we see the good parts of it. My parents left without second thought their way of a self-reliant lifestyle, a little mixed farm with, even though it was poverty, with their own efforts. They had, they didn't have a mortgage, they didn't have any of this stuff. It was hard to find money and so on, but they had some power in their lives. They didn't know what they were giving up, because they didn't know about the world of you know, Southern Ontario and what it was going to do to the kids. They expected nothing but good. More of everything, the freedom, money, travel, you know, all this sort of stuff. They seen that it was the land of opportunity. It was the whole propaganda around immigration at the time. If you go and work in a automobile factory and you put 4 bolts in a radiator, and that's all you know how to do, and you have you're dependent on being in a certain way with your superiors, otherwise you lose your job. You can't be real. If you have a mortgage, you have to say and do things that you don't want to do. You have to have the willpower or whatever it takes to not go home and watch TV and drink beer, but do other stuff to give you like a life.